Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome back to the porch. Back to the porch this week for a different reason than when we were here 2 to 3 weeks ago. It's because I am, like what I'm hearing, many of you, I'm quarantined. I had direct contact with someone who tested positive last week, and as you can hear, I'm dealing with some congestion and I am a little tired. I'm getting tested later this afternoon, so by the time actually this plays out tomorrow morning, I will know whether I am a new part of the COVID clan. And I'm not making light of it at all. I'm not. Because one of the things that I think I've come to realize about COVID is it's one of those, there's categories that we kind of put things in, and I think the category we place this in is we have no control over this at all. I mean, this is something, and I'm going to share my bias here, all right? Do I think God created COVID? No, I don't. Do I think God sent COVID our way as punishment? No, I don't. This is part of living in a fallen, broken world that deals with disease and illness and sickness and death, as we have now seen over the last 8 months and unfortunately continue to see. It's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy 8 months. When will it end? Who knows? We're not in control of this. God is ultimately in charge, yes. God is ultimately in control, yes. God one day will make all things new, yes. But until then, the Rona is visiting us now. It's visiting potentially me now. And we said this early on this semester, didn't we? We are doing this together. This is something that we're doing it together. Case in point, me, right? I mean, I didn't volunteer for this, didn't sign up for this, but because of contact and the fact that we, even in trying to do everything well and appropriate, we're always at risk because we're not in charge. We're not in charge. And there are some things in life that we're not in charge of. There are other things in life that we totally call the shots on. I mean, we can choose to do good or evil. We can choose to be kind or unkind. We can choose to live today in ways that are expressions of the kingdom or contrary to what the kingdom is all about. We can make those kinds of choices. Just like there are some things like the coronavirus and other things, it's a pretty big, broad category that we have no control over ultimately. There are things that we do manage and control. But those are the ways that we respond to COVID, and there are ways that we respond to life as well. I'm actually going to talk about that in chapel this Thursday, so I'm not going to unpack that for you. But yes, there is such a thing as personal responsibility in our world. There is a way we're called to live. We are to be kind. We are to be compassionate. We are to be patient. We are to be loving with each other. It is who we're called to be because it is the way of Jesus. With the things that we can control, with the things that we can't control, we still control how we respond to them. Things that we have no control over, things that ultimately we have way more control sometimes than we want to admit. There's a third category, though, that I think also affects us. It's about systems that are in place. It's about things that are a part of what Paul calls principalities and darkness of this world. And what Paul means by that is there are things in place, there are systems in place that are evil. Some of them have been constructed by man, but now they're just a part of what it means to live in a broken, evil world that we may have had a role in developing and establishing, but we also can have a role in speaking against. Racism is one of those. It's a system. It is layered with history and time and attitudes and deception. Racism is layered. It's one of those things that is a system. It's systemic here in the U.S., but it's also one that those of us seeking to live in the way of Jesus can speak against. We can seek to change. It's hard. It's way more difficult than handling the things that are our personal responsibility in our little worlds, where when we do them right, we celebrate and we thank God, and when we do them inappropriately and in ways that aren't right and good, we confess and we repent. But there are other things that are systems in this world that are a part of what it means to live in a broken place with people that are broken, that work to create things that aren't healthy and broken as well. So there are some things we have no control, we have no say over. There are other things that we have total control over, or more control than we would like to admit. Can I say it that way? And when we fall short in these areas, we confess and repent. I don't have anything to confess and repent about coronavirus. I'm not blaming the person who potentially has passed it on to me if I have it. I don't even know who that would be, right? But the systems in the world that we're a part of, these kingdoms that clash against God's kingdom and what it means to live in the way of Jesus, we should always speak out against. Will they ever change? Maybe some of them never will until all things are made new. But that doesn't mean for those of us seeking to live in the way of Jesus, we still don't speak about them. I got to be honest with you. I really think that's what it is at the heart of the stories in Matthew 13. When Jesus is telling us what his kingdom is like, he's not talking about coronavirus and things we don't have any control over. He's not really even talking about, he does a little bit, but he's not really even talking about the micro ways that we manage our lives every day. He's talking about kingdoms. He's talking about a clash of kingdoms, and that's what we've been talking about all semester. When kingdoms collide, where do we land? When kingdoms collide, where do we fall? As people seeking to live in the way of Jesus, my desire and my hope for us in the midst of these times filled with uncertainty for a variety of reasons, and some of the things, maybe most of the things that we feel are completely out of our control, what is always ours to manage and what we always get to speak into is the ways we respond. So hear me. Hear me again. Be kind. Be compassionate. Be gracious. Be merciful. Be patient with each other. That is the way of Jesus. Grace and peace.